So as you can tell from the title of this video, yes, I did have a table saw accident. And I really debated whether or not to do a video on the accident because frankly it's kind of embarrassing having to admit that I had made a mistake. I decided that to go ahead and do it just because it might help somebody else out or keep somebody else from doing the same thing that I did. Don't worry, I do have all 10 fingers. I didn't cut any part of my fingers off. I just pretty much mangled up a couple of them. So I'll take the bandage off, show you the damage. If you don't want to see it, just stop watching. I'll take you over to the table saw, show you what I was doing, what happened, and what I'm going to do to prevent it from happening again. All right, so here's where it happened. That there is blood splatter from the accident. So it happened on these two fingers. I got hit on my middle finger first, and then it kind of flung my fingers to the side, and it caught me on the side of my ring finger and my middle finger. So when I went in like this, it caught me and kind of shot my finger like that. Now, I've identified 2 or 3 things that I did wrong. First of all, I had turned the motor off. So if I had not turned the motor off, I'd probably be missing portions of my finger, but the blade was spinning to a stop when I hit it. So that's the only thing that really saved my fingers. So let me point out some of the problems that I've identified. All right, so problem number 1 is that I was in a rush. Just plain and simple, I was in a rush. My family was visiting, so I was trying to rush through these little pieces here to send back with my mom. So I would cut them, and then I would stack them here. So I think the second problem was that I stacked the pieces that I cut on the sled. And the third problem is that I don't have a guard over my crosscut sled, which I've seen some people put plexiglass or just a couple of pieces of wood. If I had that guard there, then I would not have reached at the blade. So I got finished making my cut, I put the pieces there, and I turned the blade off. And then just, for some reason, I decided to go pick the pieces up at that moment. And that's whenever the blade hit. So that's how it happened. I was rushing. I stacked my pieces on the sled. I should have stacked them somewhere else. And I did not have a guard to protect me from reaching at the blade while it was still spinning. So what am I going to do about it? First of all, I'm not going to rush. I just need to take my time, just remind myself about this so that I don't rush anymore. The second thing I'm going to do is never stack the pieces that I'm cutting on the table saw, anywhere on the table saw. I'll place them to the side so that when I get done, I won't be tempted to reach at them on the sled. The third thing I'm going to do, just for extra protection, and not everybody does this, but I'll put a couple of pieces of strips of wood here just so I'll know not to reach my hands there. And I do need to rebuild my sled, so I'm going to rebuild it and incorporate those things as well, the guard. But for now, I'll just tack on a couple of pieces of wood here just to prevent myself from reaching at the blade again. You know, I'm a musician, so I'll probably pick the worst hobby in the world for a musician, one in which you can possibly lose digits. So I really need to keep that in mind too, that I need my fingers for my other passion. But I hope that helped. It was humbling for me, first of all, for it to happen, and then second of all, to do this video. But maybe it will help prevent accidents for anyone else. And I consider myself pretty safe, especially with the sled. I always felt safer with the sled, but it happened while I had the sled on. But I have had people getting on to me about the way I've used the table saw without the sled. So I know one thing I need to do is to make a zero clearance insert, and I need to get my splitter to where it's not in the way. When I use the splitter on this table saw, it seems to make things more dangerous because the wood will hit it and it'll stop it from moving forward. So I need to work on that. So thanks for watching. I hope this will help give you a better view of safety when you're using the table saw, and with your sled whenever things seem safer. So please subscribe, check out my other videos, like me on Facebook, all that stuff's in the description below. See you later.